At home, we love this new scoring system, but Dom's saying he's still getting to grips with it. That's fascinating, isn't it, Guy?
Well, it is very new, so no surprises there, but they'll get it worked out pretty quickly. For the viewer at home, the scoring is instant, so it should be a lot easier to understand.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's a great tournament as well. Let's head over to your commentators then for this first match of the day, Cass Edwards and Wayne Boyce.
Thanks, Tony. So 7 more matches this afternoon in this afternoon session. 3 doubles and 4 singles. And Cass, the USA are going to need an awful lot of those points to start making a match of this.
Thank you, Wayne. Yes, 6-1 deficit it is at the moment, and yes, they've got some real hard work to do. But I can't see the Europeans giving up that easily. They're going to want to forge ahead and put some more scores on the doors.
Of course, this was the Weber Cup winning match, the final match of the evening session last year. Stu Williams defeating Wes Malott to hand Europe that 8th Weber Cup success and take us level in the overall total. So Malott looking for a little bit of revenge on that one, and more importantly, to get the United States up and running. Parker Bone III thought perhaps he'd done that with his singles win against Martin Larsson. Malott was beaten yesterday convincingly by Dom Barrett. 257 his score, but Barrett's 278 was enough to see him off despite the 7 strikes. And that's not a bad start, Cass.
It's the perfect start for the big nasty, and it's high fives all round. It's a striking frame 1, which under the new World Bowling scoring system is worth 30 points. Every strike is worth 30. Wes has just absolutely blasted the 1-3 pocket, and he's looking for some applause from the fans in the crowd here.
In for a busy afternoon. Bowled just the once, excluding the Baker in yesterday's session, but he's up 4 times in the next 7 games that make up this afternoon session. Stu Williams then looking for a response, and gets it. Well, the bowling was high quality in session 1, and it looks set to continue in session 2 here.
Seems to be no change, does it? Both bowlers having great looking shots there. Both taking 30 pins with their first strike. Playing on 45 feet of oil, which was the choice of the American captain, Parker Bone. The amount of oil in the middle of the lane is 3 times more than on the outside of the lane, so you may well see these guys bowling to the outside of the lane, looking for a bit more friction before the ball snaps up into the pocket, pretty much just like that.
Well, it's 3 from 3 so far this afternoon for these two, and a double for Wes Malott. And it is that kind of form that the Americans know they're going to have to produce to put any kind of pressure on the Europeans. They currently enjoy that 6-1 lead and have their best ever opportunity to win a 4th successive Weber Cup, something that's never been done before. Both teams have won 3 in a row on 2 occasions. Bit of DIY on the ball from Malott as Stu Williams prepares his second shot. 278 his score last time out in the victory against the rookie Marshall Kent. That victory giving Europe a 4-1 lead at the time. Oh boy, he wasn't happy with it, and that is the end result.
As the ball came off a hand, some people actually heard Stewart shout, "Oh no!" Deep inside there, right in the middle of the lane, in the heavy oil. Gets some reaction in the back end, but cannot pick up the 3, 4, 6 and the 10. Which is quite a nasty split, and could well be an open frame. It is makeable. Just might give it a shot, but can only pick up 3 pins. So that becomes an open frame, and only 9 pins have scored to go with the 30 he scored in the first frame with the strike. Total running score of 39.
21 pin advantage for Wes Malott. 3 strikes, and then a first open frame of day 2. They cannot afford to have the type of session they had here last year when they lost 4-2 in the second session, and then 5-1 in the evening. Saturday was a disaster for the Americans, but it's starting pretty well in 2016. It's a turkey for Wes Malott.
3 great strikes in a row on this long oil pattern. Doesn't go too far wide, but gets a reaction at the back end. Now there's only 15 feet between the end of the awl and the head pin. So it's a 45-foot long pattern, 15 feet up to the head pin, and that's where the friction and the ball come together and create that hook sensation.
Needs to get back on the strike trail and does. Oh, there's only one way to respond really to an open frame, and it's exactly that from Stu Williams.
Yeah, much better off the hand that time. It was an error in frame 2, but that time he's got it off nicely. He's got some nice distance on the ball, a lot of rotation. Right in the 1-3 pocket to carry all 10. The first thing these guys have got to do is obviously find that break point around 45 feet. They've got to pick the right ball and then get the speed right so that the ball comes up to the pocket, and then just repeat it with lots of accuracy. There's 3 or 4 things that these guys are looking for from the outset.
The run of strikes comes to an end. Straightforward spare for Malott.
Just a fraction light in the pocket, so the 6s jump right round the 10. Now this 9 spare, if he makes it, will count as 10, plus the 9 will be 19. So a spare on the 9 counts as 19. If he scores, it goes up to 109.
Took his time coming out of his chair there, Stu Williams, but half a chance now.
Stu Williams, the first UK bowler ever to win a title on the American PBA Tour back in 2012 season in Las Vegas. And ironically, a couple of weeks after, Don Barrett did exactly the same thing, won his PBA title.
Two teams watching on from the sidelines. Oh! So nearly left the 7-10. He got mightily fortunate there, didn't he?
Wow, how about that for a shot? Stu looks almost disgusted. This looks, to all intents and purposes, a little bit light in the pocket, but there's the 7 and the 10, and they both nearly go, but the 7 stands up, and it can only be a spare, and how frustrating is that for Stu Williams?
Well, it could have been anything that, couldn't it? A strike, a 7-10 split, but it is a spare. Oh, goodness me. I think he was slightly concerned about missing that, you know.
Yeah, he used a much harder ball, that's why it held its line and went straighter. Played across the oil on the lane as well. It just held on, as you can see. Counts as a 9 spare, which is 19 pins.
Don't often see a gutter ball at this level. And Williams have managed to avoid one. Here's Malott again, though. 109.88 after 4 frames. It's another strike. It's 4 from 5 for Wes Malott. He is focused and he is buzzing early on here this afternoon for the United States. And bearing in mind, Cass, he's up 4 times this afternoon. It bodes well for the Americans.
He's got his speed absolutely perfect for this lane condition, and he's absolutely ripping the rack. Potential score of 289.
It's a good response though from Williams. He's certainly having his struggles in this game.
Yeah, but at the moment, the choice made by Parker Bone of this long oil pattern is certainly working wonders for Wes Malott. So that could start a bit of a role for the Team USA boys. There you see the score strap on the bottom of the screen there, the strike spares and the open frame. First time out of the pocket for Wes Malott, leaves a 4-pin standing, can only be a 9 spare. Just a fraction inside his line, gets an overreaction at the back end. Fortunate just to leave the 1, but it'd be a straightforward spare for Wes. Hard and straight. Under the World Bowling Scoring System, a 9 spare is 19, an 8 spare is 18, and a 7 spare is 17, and so on down if it ever goes that low.
So it takes him to 158. Williams can strike here, he would move to within 10 pins with 4 frames still to play. Bearing in mind that open frame in the second, he could easily have had the 7-10 split in the fourth and looked at a second open frame. If he can strike here, Cass, he's still very much in contention in this game.
Yes, and we're only just over the halfway stage, but somebody spoke too soon.
Somebody did.
Is that the curse of the commentator? And Stuart's face saying, what on earth is going on? It certainly wasn't in the pocket, so it didn't deserve a strike, but I think it's the 6, 7, 10. It's high on the head pin. It's got the baby split and the 7 pin on the left-hand side. It's a makeable spare. He's got to slide that ball between the 3 and the 10 pin, and that will jump the 3 pin across, but it's mighty accurate. He's got to be.
And he can't make it.
Over the shot, but it's an open frame, unfortunately, and that only counts as 8. 7 on the 1 only counts as 8. So it's a poor frame for Stu Williams.
Yeah, it's been a struggle for Stu Williams. And Cass, how much do you think the Americans' choice of the oil pattern has made a difference?
Well, Stu's had 2 open frames, but I think they tended to be more bad shots off the hand rather than being affected by the lane oil. But Wes is certainly ripping this lane apart, so it may be a condition that he's more used to playing on in the States.
Oh, but not this time.
Having said that, the curse of the commentator strikes again. 6 split for Wes. It's the big 4. It's the 4, 6 and the 7, 10. Very likely to be an open frame.
A couple of open frames for Williams, and now one likely for Wes Malott.
Yeah, it's going to be going for 2 pins here, maybe 3, but very rarely do you see this split picked up.
Not on this occasion.
Just takes the 1.
7 scored for Wes Malott.
Nobody seems to want to finish this one. Williams with 2 splits, Malott with 1 split. Is he taking some advice about possibly changing a bowling ball or trying a different line? Larson's just given a few words of advice there.
And that's where you really do see the team play come in this team event. Concern there from the 2 Swedes on the side, Larson and Svensson. He needs help from somewhere, Stu Williams. And he's not been at his best so far. 2 open frames, just 8 scored in his last. Really does need to take all 10 here, and does! A timely strike from Stu Williams.
A slight change of line, took the advice of Martin Larsson. I think it was possibly a ball change as well, I'm not quite sure, but he's ripped the rack and carried all 10, just what he wants. He's definitely moved further left on the approach, opened up the lane further, relying on that 15 feet of drive back end, and absolutely ripped the 1-3 pocket.
And look at that, the high 5 with Larsson, who certainly played his part in that strike for Stu Williams, who again is back in contention, just 9 pins behind. Oh, and it's a horrible split again here for Malott.
Well, that really is unfortunate. It was almost a 2-8-10 split, which is caused by a ball that's just hurried on quickly, got caught up in the lane or just makes the head pin. He's fortunate to kick out that 2 pin, but now he's got the 8 and the 10 pin standing, and this is almost an impossible split and could well be another open frame. 2 in a row.
Yeah, incredible. Just 7 and 9 scored in the last 2 frames for Wes Malott, and after the way he started, looked odds on to pull this back to 6-2. Suddenly, Stu Williams now with a chance to pinch this.
A strike here and Stu Williams will take the lead, and Parker doesn't look very happy, I'm afraid. I bet Wes isn't either. 2 open frames after 4 strikes in the first 5 frames. He can potentially make 30 pins a frame, but he's made 7 on the penultimate frame and 9 on the last frame. So his score really has dropped.
I can't take all 10 though, Williams.
Yeah, the change of direction didn't quite work on that time. Tight inside line, trying to blast the pocket, but the reaction of the ball in the back end, straight through the nose of the 1 pin. It's a 3 and a 6, which is a straightforward spare.
Oh dear.
And he shouted oh dear because he thought he was going to chop one, but he didn't.
And look at that, we're now neck and neck. It is a 2-frame shootout now, Cass.
174 apiece. Very interesting. We've not seen this yet on this World Bowling scoring system. Let's just wait and see what it's going to be like when we get to the 10th frame.
And how is he feeling now, Wes Malott? He came out and, as you said, was ripping it up here with a turkey in his opening 3 frames. 4 strikes from the opening 5. And now he's had a spare and 2 open frames in the last 3. Wes Malott. Better shot. And Wes Malott is back on the strike trail, and the pressure returns to the shoulders of Stu Williams.
Yeah, West scores 30 on that strike, takes him through the 200 barrier. And as you say, Wayne, pressure very much on here. Stu Williams must strike just to stay level.
World Ranking Masters winner 2007. He's cashed in 6 out of 10 PBA events in 2016. Takes all 10. What a response from Stu Williams. And we may have had our fair smattering of open frames, Cass, but what an exciting game to start the afternoon session.
Well, here we go. 1 frame to go and we're all square. Great looking shot from Stuart. Great reaction from the outside of the lane. Carries all 10 pins and keeps the scores dead level. And look at the body language of Stuart Williams. Man on a mission.
They want to get this done as quickly as possible, Europe, having raced into that 6-1 lead. Big shot then for Malott. It's a strike. And now the pressure really is on Stuart Williams.
That's it, the 10th frame, there's no extra balls. He's scored 30 pins for a total score of 234. And Stuart Williams has nothing else to do but get a strike. If it's a 9, he's lost. The match is over.
Absolutely no margin for error. If he takes all 10, it will be a sudden death shootout to decide who will claim the first point of session 2. Certainly going to be a hard-earned point, whoever takes it.
Must be a strike.
It is! And for the first time at Weber Cup 2016, Cass, we have a sudden death situation.
It's a tie at 234 each. Both players striking in the 9th and 10th frame. A great shot from Stuart Williams just to stay in the game. And it's basically a 1-ball roll-off now. Low 5s all round and a great performance from Stu Williams there.
Yeah, the one difference between this and the Ryder Cup is there's no halves.
That's right, yeah, sudden death. It's 234 apiece. And I guess it has to be a strike.
$234 each. Where's Malott? Working on 3 in a row. And gets it! And Stu Williams is back up again. It's 10-pin bowling's equivalent of the penalty shootout.
Wes Malott being the real nasty. The Big Nasty is his nickname. And he's not hanging around. 3 strikes in a row. Total pressure on Stuart Williams, and look at that for a deep breath. He knows he must strike just to stay in this game.
Big relief after he took all 10 last time, but he finds himself right back in the same situation. No margin for error for Stu Williams. Takes all 10! Oh, this is great stuff. What an up and down game this has been, Cass.
The roof is coming off Event City here in Manchester with Stuart Williams and Wes Malott locking horns at 234 apiece and now a strike apiece.
And this is only match 1 of 7 in this session, 14 throughout the whole day. What a start. And it is paper thin, the margin between a 7-1 lead and a 6-2. Here's Malott. Oh, Change of mind.
No, he's done the right thing. If somebody's upset him or just lost his concentration, he's done the right thing. He's stopped and regrouped. He knows how important this ball is, and 9 really won't be much good to him because Stewart can strike to win.
It's just about mentally holding it together, isn't it? Which one of these two great bowlers will be the first to crack? Well, it won't be Malott.
This is unbelievable. Frames 7 and 8, he had open frames. He's now gone 4 strikes in a row. And every time he strikes, Stu Williams has to stand up and do exactly the same thing.
Can't help but feel it's always worse to go second in this situation.
Well, you're certainly almost playing catch-up, aren't you? But if you wanted anybody to shoot a strike in the 10th, or the 11th shot, or the 12th shot, it would be this man, Stu Williams.
234 each, 60-30 now the score in the sudden death shootout. Oh, it's coming too early, and it is a point for the United States. But Cass, it couldn't have been more hard-earned.
A great match from both players, high fives all round, 234 apiece, and a couple of strikes from Wes Malott saw him over the winning line. Another point for Team USA.
So USA start the afternoon session with a point, certainly hard-earned. Europe lead 6-2.